get our recording going. Excellent. Okay, can everyone hear me okay? Let me just double check this. Yeah, I think.
You're coming through.
Oh, let me share screen for our Zoomers. There we go. Awesome. Okay, welcome. This is a great day. We get to hear from Carmen and learn a lot from her. She is amazing. We're going to go through a couple things real quick up front. Want to start off with let's start off with a couple of our sponsors real quick. We've got Pillar to Post. Do you guys want to come up here and say something just one real quick minute? We appreciate them. They brought lunch. So, yep, we all need to eat. We're all grateful for that. Let me get you a mic right here. You can tell us what is amazing about you guys and what should we know?
All righty. Well, yeah, thank you so much for having us. I see a lot of faces in this room, a couple that I know, a couple that I don't. Pillar to Post, this is actually our 20th year. We've been in business here in Salt Lake City. I have a close personal relationship with KW in general, but especially the South Valley office. Back when I was a teenager, I used to come in and solicit to go put up signs and do that stuff for you guys. My mom was a real estate agent out of KW, Utah for a long time and has a lot of friends in this office, or at least they used to be in the office. But anyway, Pillar to Post is what we're really here for today. We do home inspections. We really focus on providing the ultimate home inspection for you and your clients. So if you see back on the table clear back there, we print out our inspection report on site in a binder, hand it over to the clients at the time of the inspection, so you have it right away. And we do a lot of extras, not to mention our super thorough inspection. But we do 360 tours with every single inspection that we do, and that includes floor plans on our higher packages. We have a service called PTP Home Manual that is an app that your clients get that keeps track of all their appliances and stuff in the house too. And honestly, I'm so proud of the team that we've got. Our guys are awesome. Unfortunately, we've got one guy out with COVID right now, so he's we're a little bit behind schedule, but we're really focusing on getting to the point where we can schedule you guys 1 to 2 days out, so we can deal with those tight due diligence deadlines and everything too. So I really, like I said, I'm very proud of the team that we've got. They're all excellent inspectors, every single one of them. You guys will be very happy. If you have any questions, we'll be hanging out over by the food. We've got cards and information on all our services and everything. Come talk to us. And again, we appreciate you guys having us and enjoy your team meeting.
Thank you. There we go. I didn't turn it back on. Brock, do you anything in the mortgage world that we need to know about? What's going on these days?
Maybe just a couple things. So some stats that I think you'll all want to know. The most recent month-over-month appreciation rates in the mountain region, which is, I don't have Utah's most recent, but the month-over-month mountain region was still up 1% month-over-month. So we're still tracking a significant appreciation rate. Of course, it's trailing down, but I think that's the conversation we have with our clients. Although we're not seeing 25% appreciation, 2% per month, still 1% per month is kind of outrageous. $500,000 average house means you're profiting $5,000 a month. So I think that's a big stat for us to be talking about. Secondly, we've been kind of watching this stuff, and a lot of people ask me this question. I've been trying to pay attention to the data, but it's foreclosures. So foreclosures, I think you might want to write this down. They're really cool stats. In 2010, we ended the year with 1.1 million foreclosures. In 2019, it dramatically reduced because we got through the stuff, but it was 144,000 foreclosures that year. In 2020, we had 50,000. So even with the moratoriums and the COVID nonsense, 50,000. And in 2021, 26,000 total foreclosures. So when clients say, are we in a bubble and all this stuff, it's like, no, we're not. That trend would not be going this way if we had things to fear. Now, of course, anything could happen, but good appreciation, low default rates. Not just foreclosures, but 30-day and 90-day delinquencies keep trending down as well. So we don't see anything, any leading indicators or lagging data that's showing anything bad happening in the real estate market. So that's good. And outside of that, most of you or all of you should have received the video I sent yesterday about extended locks. I think that's an important thing in the market we're in, and especially moving forward into the next several years. We're going to have a ton of new construction. And so a lot of people are going to want this certainty. I gave a lot of context, but basically you can lock up to 1 full year, 360 days, and you have some exit routes. If you lock in the market, say the trend shifts and things start improving, we've got some exit routes as it relates to either a float down, which means you float rates down from the lock rate to a better rate, which gives you some improvement, not 100%, or you can even cancel that lock midstream anytime. And as long as you float the rate for 30 days after you cancel, you now relock with no attachment to any of old lock. So if we see trends, I mean, a lot of that is technical and our responsibility to coach the client through, but it's really good options, you know, to at least secure your bets today. And if we see a shift, then we've got exit routes. So thank you.
Excellent.
Any questions? Sorry. 2010, 1.1 million. So that was really big. Yeah, nationwide. Yeah. Not every homeowner in Salt Lake got foreclosed on. Yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks, guys.
So in the height, 1.1 million, I think
Yeah.
we're 24,000.
26,000.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's like,
last year.
it's insane.
That's crazy. Thank you, Brock. To be our local experts, that includes knowing what is going on in the mortgage world and the lender world. So, so thank you for keeping us up to date there. What I want to do is make sure that that we are seeing this top of mind for all of what's coming up. You guys should have received all of this in emails, but just in case, so I'm going to go quick through this. If you don't have this in your emails, again, I'll say this every time, please let us know, because we want to make sure that you're seeing all the awesome content that we're providing outside of team meeting as well. So this one is January 27th, which is 2 days from today, Building Powerful Pipelines with Keller Williams. That one's over Zoom. You can register. This is, we did announce this last week. You probably saw this as well, but Gary Keller was named the most powerful person in real estate this last year. Pretty amazing. Guerrilla marketing, vision plan, build, inspect, and win. This is January 26th. Again, that one is tomorrow. We've got orientation. If you are new and you have not been to orientation, we want you to come to that. That's also on Thursday at 10 a.m. The Awards Gala, this is 2021. So this is all of last year. Everyone is invited. In the past, we have, speaking of COVID, we have not been able to have a venue where we've been able to invite everyone because of some restrictions loosening up. We've been able to have everyone together. So everyone is invited, you and a +1. And what's cool is we're gonna have Governor Gary Herbert is going to be our keynote speaker. So plan on coming to that. You do need to register. So we've got a head count and kind of it's dessert and drinks, kind of hors d'oeuvres type thing. So plan on coming there. That'll be awesome. This is, we have our CE coming up, 1031 exchange. Education, that is from John Lish. He is general counsel for Real Advantage title right upstairs. So if anyone knows how to get this done, it's someone with an attorney or with a law degree. That is February 1st. So that'll be next week. Kimber, our amazing Kimber, is going to be teaching content with purpose. That is Thursday, February 3rd. Put that on your calendar. Office safety training. This is next week, February 2nd. Sorry, not next week. I get that the week after, whatever that is on the calendar. Look in the calendar. It's February 2nd, 10 a.m. If you have an office here, you come here regularly, please come to this. It is very close. We're trying to do everything we can to call it mandatory. So please come, but it will be beneficial for information for any office or industrial setting. Coffee and donuts with Broker Rich. If you have questions, you just want to chat or get ideas on, you've got some deals, or you need to know stuff, what's going on. This Friday, this is on Friday, February 4th, 9:30. Ignite. This is not only for brand new agents, but if you're looking for tips, tricks, on how to get your business going, like build out your marketing plan, build out your listing presentation, your buyer consultation, get best tips and tricks from agents, then you should put this on your calendar as well. That's February 7th through the 11th, from 9 to 12 each of those days. Also, we've really kicked this off. This is Meet the Masters, where we want you guys to be able to be in front of masters within our brokerage. And sometimes we'll even have people outside of our brokerage who are doing some pretty amazing things. So these are usually outside of team meeting. And so that's what this is. So if you see that, Meet the Master, it's usually because they have done something pretty amazing and they are coming to share that with us as well. This is February 10th. Put that on your calendar. And then, of course, sorry, I'm speeding through this.
Yes. So this, I just want to give a shout out to Sammy, because I feel like it's creative marketing, because she probably went up to Justin and said, what do you want to teach? And he probably sang a rap song. And so now we're all going to go, because he's a great speaker and we also don't know what it's about, and we won't find out unless we go. So let's all go.
There you go. Love it. That is the best marketing pitch right there. You'll find out when you get there. But yes, it is funny. Chevy tuned up like a NASCAR pit stop.
He did kind of tell us a little bit about what it's about yesterday.
Yeah, it's going to get your business tuned up. Make sure that you're, yep.
Yeah, like getting, if your business was like a Chevy, getting that tuned up like a NASCAR pit stop to handle all your systems.
There we go. It's clicking. It's clicking. Yep. Okay, so put that on your calendar. Of course, Tech Bars, February 16th, 10 a.m. Rich is talking, he is teaching real estate forms. Our broker is going over all that. He knows the forms inside and out. So if there's anyone you want to learn forms from, put that on your calendar, February 16th. And of course, family reunion. This is just about a month from today. And they are capping out the amount of people that are able to come, and they are expecting, this is not like a push hard sale, but if you have interest in going, then please sign up this week. It is very possible that they will sell out. They are predicting that it will probably sell out by the end of the week at the rate that things are selling. So the family reunion is one of the two largest conventions, or the two largest conventions that Keller Williams puts on. And there is a cost to go to this, but if there's anything that energizes and gives you some, just kind of charges up your batteries for the whole year, then this is it. I've gone, I think, every year since I've been here at Keller Williams, and it definitely is your business. And my business has grown every year, and I can attribute, I know, a lot to some of the things that I've learned here from family reunion. Did you have a hand? Yeah.
Yeah, I know, like, the cost.
Prisoners.
I'm going to put you on the spot, Tyler, but I know the cost can deter some people from going. But I have understood that there is a way to get some of your tuition reimbursed through the Utah University.
Yes.
Do you remember any details?
Not the specific details for what.
But
you
we have
guys
a
need right
website
now.
you can go to, and people are able to get some of this reimbursed as some education. So just so you know, and I
Yes.
can get you the link.
Yeah, you can hang on to that. And it's Terry's birthday today. She does wear a birthday crown almost every day, so it's not unusual, but that's why you probably were wondering. But happy birthday, Terry. We love you. And I know I've talked a lot about family reunion. Just put a little bit at some point, and I had to do this myself. You got to put some faith in some of the systems out there. And if you are on the fence, then can I persuade you to lean towards going? Because I promise you it's going to be a benefit to you. if you have any questions, you want to talk about that, then please let me know or anyone else, and we can give you more details and look at the agenda and also let you know all the cool things that we're doing as a market center while we are down there together. Yes. Yeah, can I give you the mic?
Just going back to the forms meeting that Rich is going to do.
Uh-huh.
When Sammy and I were in the office with Rich yesterday, he said, this is the crowd he wants at the forms meeting. Don't think it's going to be talking about just the Rep C, because he's not talking about the Rep C. If you're coming for that, he says you're wrong. He's going to be talking about all the relevant forms that we need right now in the market that we're working in. And he doesn't want just 4 people there. He says he wants this. So
Awesome.
that's a plug
Thank you.
for our broker.
Thank you for that plug. Yes. There in this market right now, people are being very strategic on how they write offers, how they present them. If you haven't seen that, then it's possible that you don't know about the forms and what strategies they're using if you don't notice them. So please come and be a part of that. Got some beautiful background noise going on. That's unusual. There's not like something leaking in the building, right? Maybe we should. Oh, okay. Yes, we do have. Yeah. No, we're good. Okay. Let's get on to the juicy part of our meeting today. Let's welcome up Carmen Crane. Give her a round of applause while we introduce her. She's going to tell us all the ins and outs and her secrets about door knocking and all the success that she has had. She is a fantastic person and it's been so fun watching your business grow over the years. And I know this is one of the big strategies that she has implemented. So thank you for spending time with us.
You're welcome.
Do you want this one or this one?
I'll take this one.
There you go.
I'll take the one that. Can everybody hear me? Hello, everyone on Zoom. So my name is Carmen Crane. I have been a real estate agent I'm just barely hitting my 4-year mark. And I have done a lot of door knocking to get business since I've been a real estate agent. And so that's what we're going to talk about today. And I hope that you guys will all find something that I say that is a benefit or a takeaway for you. I'll just grab this really quick. I dropped this on the floor. So to start off, I think one of the main things to talk about with door knocking is that a lot of people don't like it because they think it's really hard. And I'm not going to lie, door knocking is not easy. But something that has really helped me in my business is something that when I first joined Keller Williams, I joined the coaching program, and Terry was actually my coach. And she gave us these books, and she challenged us to write down 20 affirmations, 10 things that we are grateful for, 10 things that we want to attract, and then what our intention for the day was. And I can tell you, if you are consistent about working on your mindset, you can do anything, because anything that seems hard or a challenge to us, it's all in our head. And so even if I wake up in the morning and I don't really feel like getting out there and going door knocking, if I take the time to fill this page out, even just by filling this out, I already feel a little better. So mindset is huge. And I just wanted to start off with that because if you honestly believe in yourself and you believe that you can do it, it will make all the difference. And people can tell too when you're at the door if you don't believe in what you're doing, or if you don't believe that you're a very good real estate agent to use. You need to believe 100% in yourself, and it's going to also reflect in the way you're interacting with the people that you're talking to on the doorstep. I also like when I'm driving in my car to the neighborhood that I'm going to door knock to, I like to listen to positive like mindset, like podcasts or YouTube videos or things that are kind of like very positive and that can give me energy and, you know, get me excited about getting out there and door knocking. I also like to listen, sometimes I'll listen to music that is, you know, very positive, gives you energy. So that's just a tip that I do. So let's start off by talking about why would we door knock? What are some benefits of door knocking? Does anybody know like what's the benefit of door knocking? That's right, face to face. The person is seeing you right there in person. They can see that you're not scary, you're real, you're not a robot, you're not a spammer. It's free. It's zero cost to you. A lot of people buy leads, and those can be very expensive. And there's also a lot of competition a lot of times with these leads that you buy, because there's a lot of agents that are trying to hurry and answer the phone and get that same lead. But with door knocking, it's you face to face with that person, and there's no competition. And it's also an excellent way to get listings. And for any of you that have taken Bold, you'll know that listings are leverage, right? And so usually when we get a listing, we can typically try to get more business off of that listing. So with door knocking, you're getting a lot of listings. If you're door knocking to homes, you can also door knock to apartment complexes and pick up buyers, but typically you'll be able to pick up listings if you door knock. So the next point that I want to talk about is, how do you decide where to go door knocking? So there are some like math equations and things you can do to kind of figure out if it's a good neighborhood. But I just want to say right off the bat that it is, in my opinion, just go. Don't overthink it. Just get out there and door knock and pick a neighborhood and just go. But if you are going to start a geographic farm and spend a lot of time in that neighborhood, then there are some ways you can determine whether it's a good neighborhood to spend a lot of time in or not. And one of those things that you can do is find out how many homes are in the neighborhood. And then you want to go to the MLS and you want to type in how you can go to the map in the MLS, type in an address in that neighborhood, then where it says jump to, put in the address, and then you can point and click around the neighborhood and then find out in the last 5 years how many homes have sold. So let's say, for example, there's 200 homes in the neighborhood, and in the last 5 years, 20 homes have sold. So that means that it's a turnover rate of 10%. You want to make sure that it has at least a 6% turnover rate. And then the second thing that you would want to look at is how many different agents sold those 20 homes. If the majority of those homes were sold by one agent, then you can already see that there's a dominant agent in that neighborhood, and that could possibly be their farm, which doesn't mean you can't door knock there, but you're going to be swimming upstream. It's just going to be all that harder to try to convince everybody to use you rather than the neighborhood expert that's already established themselves in that neighborhood. So those are the two tips that I would give you if you are going to do a farm. And once you decide on the neighborhood, start branding yourself as the neighborhood expert. So make sure that before you go door knocking, that you find out the most recent solds, find out what homes are on the market right then, find out what the price per square foot is. You want to even know the name of the person who just sold. So then you can go up to the neighbors and say, hey, did you know the Jones that just sold on 123 Street or whatever? And you can sound like you're not very knowledgeable and you know what you're talking about, and kind of get familiar with the lay of the land, like know where the parks are, the schools, and so that you are the expert and know about the market too, because people are going to ask you questions about the market. So just make sure that you're really familiar before you go. And this is to anywhere, even if it's not a farm. Anytime you're going to go door knocking, just kind of do a little bit of homework ahead of time. So there's also a lot of different reasons why you can door knock. So, and this will give you talking points too while you're going. So one great reason to go door knocking is for an open house. And if you don't have your own open house, that's okay. There's a lot of agents in the office that are looking for people to do open houses for them. So ask, like Nick can probably get you in touch with people that are looking for open houses, and just pick up an open house and then go door knock all the neighbors in that neighborhood and let them know that there's a house for sale, and invite them to the open house. Ask them for if they know anyone that's wanting to move to the neighborhood, because the statistics are about 20% of the time a neighbor will know somebody that wants to move into the neighborhood. So that's a really good way to start. And then you can always ask them if they've thought about selling, and also ask for a referral. So always ask for a referral when you're out door knocking. Do you happen to know anybody, or actually you're going to want to say, who do you know? Because if you ask them a yes or no question, but if you just say, who do you know that has thought about buying or selling, then they can't just say no, right? Okay, so then you can door knock for an open house. Another thing is if there's not an open house that you can door knock for, then just door knock and try to find listings. So just go around to the neighbors and just say, hey, have you ever thought about selling? You know, so-and-so just sold their house down the street for this much. Are you curious to know what your house could sell for? When's the last time somebody told you how much your home is worth? And just start a conversation that way and try to pick up listings. And then another reason to door knock would be to pick up buyers. So you could go to an apartment complex and try to see if there's any of them there that are thinking about buying a home. And then always try to set an appointment. So when you're there, try to get an appointment to do like a listing presentation or a buyer presentation. So a lot of people are going to be hesitant to for someone they don't know, and that's why it's important to try to create rapport with them and get to know them, ask a lot of questions, and then set an appointment and try to get that appointment as soon as possible. Like if you could get it later that day or even right then is the best, but try to get an appointment as soon as you can to do the listing presentation or the buyer presentation, because your chances go up a lot higher the sooner it goes, or the sooner you can get in. And then a question that I always get, the people ask me is, do we door knock to homes that say no soliciting? I see a lot of heads nodding yes. Yes. So it's not the same as the call. Like when you're calling and they have the do not call list, you can get serious, like have to pay serious fines. Door knocking, you're not going to get a fine if you knock on someone's door that says no soliciting. They might get a little bit upset with you, but just move on. There are some cities that do have rules that you're supposed to have a permit to do door-to-door sales. I have only been asked that one time the entire time I have been door knocking. And if somebody's really upset about it, then just leave that neighborhood and go somewhere else or go get a permit. But I've never personally gotten a permit, and I'm not telling you not to, but I don't want that to stop you from door knocking. The goal is to get out there and door knock. So the only time that I'm a little bit hesitant to knock on a door is if they have one of those really, really big signs that say, do not make it awkward. We found Jesus. We don't need Girl Scout cookies. You know, those signs? Yeah. We already have, you know, we already know who we're voting for, whatever. Those signs, I usually I avoid those just because you know that person put that sign there. A lot of the no soliciting signs probably weren't even from the person that lives there now. So I could probably count on two hands how many times somebody has either shut the door in my face or told me, did you not see this no soliciting sign? Why did you knock on my door? Like, it doesn't happen that often. By and large, most people are nice. You just, and if something negative does happen, if somebody gets upset, you just got to have really thick skin and just let it roll off your back and keep going. You don't let that give you a reason to quit, because you want to set a goal when you start for the day. Like, I'm going to go down so many streets, or I'm going to door knock for this amount of time, or I'm going to door knock till I get this many contacts. Do not stop until you get that goal. So even if somebody's mean or really rude to you, don't take it personally. It's them. They're the ones having a bad day. Another thing that is important when you're getting ready to door knock is make sure you bring everything you need. Because if you have any reason to stop, it's hard to go back and pick back up. So bring a water bottle, bring some snacks, wear comfortable clothes. If it looks like it's going to rain or get cold, make sure you wear warmer clothes. In the summertime, make sure that you're dressing cool enough. No, I do not. Wear comfy shoes. You do not want to wear heels. You want to make sure that what you wear is going to be comfortable. You want to look presentable and professional, but just make sure you dress so that you can be out on your feet for several hours at a time. So I always take a flyer with me. Not everybody I know that door knocks takes flyers with them. I like to take flyers. And here at Keller Williams, we all can get our 200 prints, black and white prints for free. And an idea that's really inexpensive is you could take like fluorescent colored paper and make black and white flyers. You could even make them on half sheet so that you can even make more. And those are absolutely free. You just have to buy your colored paper and it wouldn't cost anything. If you want to make color copies, you can, and just put 2 on a sheet and cut them in half. That'll get it even further. So there's a lot of inexpensive ways that you can get going on your door knocking that doesn't break the bank. So I like to take my flyers, and it always has my information, my contact information, so that they can reach out to me. You always need to put the broker's information on it too. And then I take water bottle, I take snacks. I usually put a backpack on, just because then that way I have everything in my backpack that I need, and then my hands are free. And then is what I do is I take really good notes, because you want to make sure you're tracking everybody that you talk to, because you will not remember. After you talk to so many people during the day, you will not remember all the details. So I put it in my phone. Type it into my notes in my phone. And then that way I don't have to try to read my scribbling handwriting later because I'm trying to write fast. I like to just put it in my phone. So after you talk to that person, well, while you're talking to them and you get their contact information, put it in your notes. And then make sure you put the address in there, and then write a little bit of notes about the conversation so that you can remember down the road. And then as soon as you're done for the day, when you get back to your office or you get back home, put it in Command, like upload all those contacts into Command so that you can start, or your CRM, whatever it is you use, so that you can be keeping track of all these new leads that you have and following up with them. Okay, so what should we wear? Well, we already talked about basically what you should wear, but the number one thing you should wear is a smile. Because you want to just make sure that, I mean, you're going to talk to grumpy people, but if you can smile and just always stay polite and don't get confrontational, people are going to be a lot more warm and inviting with you. Okay, so with the following up, we always learned in coaching, the fortune is in the follow-up. And if you do not follow up with these people, then you're wasting your time going door knocking. I only know one person that used to be at this brokerage that actually gets deals right then and doesn't ever follow up. But that is not normal. Most of us have to follow up to be able to keep nurturing and get the deal. So what I like to do is I like to try to go around at least once a quarter to the whole, like redo the neighborhood at least once a quarter minimum. But if there's an open house, go back before that and invite everyone again to the open house. If you just sold a home, tell them, send out just sold flyers. If it's a holiday, you could take a pop by and have just a reason to go and pop by and say hello, drop off a little small gift or treat. Another thing you could do is give them a market update. Just say, hey, I was in the neighborhood. I want to stop by and let you know what's going on in the market. Just to stay top of mind. I always, as soon as I get home from door knocking, I always would write a thank you card to everybody I talked to, like that I got their information. And even if somebody didn't feel comfortable giving me their contact information, but I know they sounded interested, I would write their address down and I would still send them a thank you card. So write them a thank you card and send it in the mail, and that's another touch. So one thing that I do is you can buy, these are magnets. I just bought these off of Amazon, and they have, you just peel this sticker off and it's a sticky, and it's the same size as your business card. So you could stick your business card on this magnet and then put it in the thank you card, and they'll put it on their fridge. Like I have people still to this day tell me, I still have your magnet on my fridge. Or you can have them made, like I've had some of these made that look like a house, and they're not that expensive, but it is an extra cost. But it's the ones you can get on Amazon are really cheap, these magnets. So that's another thing you could do when you give them a thank you card in the mail. So another thing to keep in mind too is that the average time someone stays in their house is between 6 and 7 years. And I know that sounds like a really long time to be following up with someone, but the chances are if you stay in front of them, eventually they're going to sell. So it can be the long game, but keep in front of these people and just keep showing them that you are the neighborhood expert. You could also start getting involved in neighborhood things, like if they do like a neighborhood garage sale or something like that, you could participate and maybe even sponsor something like drinks or food. And then you can start following some of these people on social media and ask them to follow you as well. And then you can see if they're having a baby or if somebody graduated high school or something like that. That will give you another reason to pop by and say, hey, I saw you guys are going to have a baby, or I just saw that so-and-so made the football team or whatever. Just keep in front of them. And it doesn't always have to be a business conversation, but just have those touches with them. So another thing that people are always asking me too is, what do you actually say when you get to the door? I like to start off like really friendly, but I also don't want to waste a lot of time either right off the bat. You want to kind of get quick to the point because people are wondering what you're doing. And you don't want to come across as being like super salesy right off the bat. So one thing that I was taught to say, and it has to sound natural. And so it took me a long time to get to this point where I would say this. But one thing that is actually pretty effective is when you get to the door, you just say, hey, did the neighbors tell you I was stopping by? And it really throws them off guard because they're expecting you to get into like some pitch. And when they're like, wait, the neighbors told you to come over? Because then they're really curious. And it also kind of makes them trust you more, because if the neighbors told you to come, so it is a good trick, but you also have to kind of feel comfortable saying it. And if you don't want to say that, another thing that you could start off the conversation is like, oh, you have such a cute dog. What kind of dog is that? Or I love your lawn. Do you take care of it yourself? Or your flowers look really beautiful, or whatever. Just have some quick conversation and then just say, my name is Carmen and I'm with Keller Williams, and the reason why I'm stopping by is because, and then go into your pitch. But if you can kind of have that little icebreaker right off the bat, it does help. It does help a lot. And then you can just start it by, whatever. Are you there for an open house? Are you there to pick up buyers? But one thing, if a lot of you are new agents, one thing that I would always suggest you say is we, because I promise you here at the brokerage, we do have buyers looking to live in this neighborhood. So just use that word we a lot, because then it makes you sound more legit and that you are a lot more successful by just using it as the brokerage. And then, let's see. Does anybody have any questions? Because I do have some stories I want to tell you of crazy things that have happened while I've door knocked. But does anybody have any questions that they want to ask me? Okay, Kenya.
Do you have like a schedule of the frequency that you're going out, or like what's your, I guess, how often you go?
So I like to decide ahead of time how many contacts I want to have for the week. So, and then if I'm going to figure out how many of those contacts I want to have door knocking. And then I divide that by how many days I'm going to door knock. So if I say, for example, I want to have 100 contacts during the week, if I am going to go door knocking 4 days, then I know I'm going to have to talk to at least 25 people each time I door knock. So that's kind of how I divide it up. Yes. Well, when I was door knocking full time, yes, I would go almost every day. Because there were weeks when my goal was 250 contacts. And so when you're doing that kind of volume, you have to go 6 days a week. to fit it in. Okay.
So when you were saying the like, hey, did the neighbors tell you I was coming over? Do people ever say like, oh, what neighbors or about what? And like, how do you respond to that?
You know what? They don't. I don't give them a lot of time to like really think about it, but it does get them to stop and pause and like, what does she have to say? But I have never had anybody ask me that. So, I mean, you might, and you could just be like, well, tell them you've been just talking to all the neighbors or whatever. You don't have to be specific.
My thought on that was like, I don't know about you guys, but if you have a Facebook neighborhood page, depending on the culture of your neighborhood, you often hear that there's someone in the neighborhood on Facebook. They'll be like, did you see that person that was walking around? So I would totally say, oh, I thought that on the neighborhood page, they might have told you, they might have mentioned something.
Yeah, that's a good idea too. Oh, and another thing I was going to say too is a lot of times when neighbors start seeing there's someone in the neighborhood going door to door, they start to not want to answer their door. So I often don't go straight down the street and back up. I'll go kind of zigzag across, or I'll skip homes that don't look like anybody's home. Just because if you keep just going straight down the street, sometimes people just, they're home, but the neighbors called and said someone's out soliciting, so don't answer your door. So a lot of times I won't just go in a straight, obvious path. I'll kind of zigzag around. But do keep track of the homes you go to. Okay, does anybody have any more questions? Okay, Nick.
So for someone like you, obviously you're super successful and you're just killing it and life is good. But then you say, hey, I don't really door knock every day anymore. That's not my full time. And I think I have an idea of why that changed, but sometimes I think it sounds like, oh, it doesn't actually work. That's why I don't do it anymore. But I kind of doubt that's the case. Why has that changed for you?
So I am on a team now. I'm on Heather Roxburgh's team. And so it's kind of interesting too, because over time you start getting people calling you that I've door knocked in the past, or you're starting to get referrals off the business that you have. And like I'm getting leads and stuff off the team. And so I don't door knock to the level that I did before, but I still do door knock, especially when I have listings. I like to go and invite everybody to my open house and let the neighbors know and all of that stuff. So that's why. But it's not because it doesn't work. It does work.
It helped you get started.
It did. Yes, absolutely. And you also need to be really careful. Like you can go with people. You can go with a friend door knocking. But the last team that I was on before I joined the Roxburgh group, they always wanted us to go by ourselves. And they said that the statistics are better if you're by yourself. But you also need to be very careful. Always tell someone where you are. Tell them when you're planning on coming back home. And if you happen to get an appointment and you're going to be later, just let somebody know so that we always know that you're safe, because it's a crazy world out there. Just be smart and be safe. And you can go after dark. I don't recommend it, but and that does bring me to another point of time. When is the best time to go door knocking? Any time is the best time. Just go. So, but I personally wouldn't go before 9 a.m. and I wouldn't go after 8 p.m. That's personally what I do. I know there's people that go way earlier and stay out way later, but I personally don't want to go before or after that. So, but anytime you're going to find people home. So just go when it's convenient for you. Anybody else have any other questions? Okay, let me give you the microphone so we can hear. Oh.
Did you say how long you go out when you do go out? Like is it hours that you're out?
Yes.
And
so depending on what my goal is for that day, like I would say let's say you're going to try to talk to 25 people, it's going to take you about 2 hours. Now, I will say this. If you go to condos or apartments, you can knock out people faster because they're closer together. There's not as much walking in between. But that's a general rule of thumb. Now, if you're really chatty Cathy and you do like to have really long conversations with people, it's going to take you longer. I try to you want to have a long enough conversation to kind of get to know them and build that rapport, but you don't want to stay for hours at someone's house either. Go ahead.
Can you just give us an example of like, just do a little role play real quick, like what you do? So, I mean, because you did say
Sure.
a couple of opening lines.
Okay, so when I go door knocking, I don't like to have anything in my hands because I don't want people to think right off the bat that I am a salesperson. And so I have everything in my backpack, and they can't, when I'm just standing there, they can't even tell I have a backpack on. I have my phone in my pocket. So I just say, hey, did the neighbors tell you? Well, I knock and I ring the doorbell. I do both because sometimes the doorbell doesn't work. So I just say, hi, did the neighbors tell you I'm stopping by? And then I say, my name is Carmen. I'm with Keller Williams. The reason why I stopped by is because I wanted to invite you to my open house that I'm having on Saturday. Did you know that the Joneses are selling their home? Do you know anybody that has thought about moving to this neighborhood? And have you actually thought about selling? And then you can say, do you know what they're selling? You want to always ask questions. Do you know what they're selling their house for? If you could sell your home for this much, would you want to sell as well? And then if they seem interested, you can gauge, you can tell if they're interested or not, then just keep asking more questions. Hey, do you mind if I get your contact information? We have a lot of events that I'd love to invite you to. And you want to put them on that list, you know, like you invite them to all of our Keller Williams events that we do every year. And then you could also say, I also want to send you some market updates. So that's another reason why you want to get their contact information. And then say, what's the best phone number? What's your best email? And then write down their address as well. And then also you want to make sure that you ask for a referral. So even if they give you all that information, say, who do you know that has thought about buying or selling in the next 6 months? Or you could say next 60 days, like whatever time frame you want to give them. And it's interesting how many people really will think about it and try to give you a referral. So that's just a really basic thing to say at the door. Yeah, you're welcome. So does anybody else have any questions? Okay, I'm going to tell you guys a couple stories that happened to me door knocking. Because I mentioned earlier that most often we're not going to get someone that's like, yeah, I want to sell my house today. Let's list it. That happened to me one time. And so I don't know if you guys know Zula. She and I used to door knock quite a bit together. And we had found this family that lived in some townhomes that said they wanted to move, but they would only move if they could live on certain streets. There was like 4 streets that they had given us that they would move to. So we went to those 4 streets, and it wasn't very far away from their townhome. And we started door knocking over there, and we could actually say, we have a buyer, because we did, that wanted to move there. And one of the doors we knocked on, the woman actually knew me, and I didn't recognize her, but I've come to find out I knew her parents way better. And so she invited us in, and she wasn't going to sell, but so we asked her, do you know anybody that has thought about selling or buying? And she said, actually, there is a family a couple streets over that want to sell. And she said, they're the second house on the left on this street. So we go over there. And the woman answers the door, and she's like, how did you know? I haven't told anybody that I'm moving. I'm like, well, so-and-so knew. Come to find out, we were at the wrong house. It was the 3rd house down that we were supposed to go to, but she told us the 2nd. So lo and behold, she really was looking that day for a home, and she invited us in. We signed the contract. She bought a house the next day. She bought the model home, put their house on the market, 2 deals, bam. Now that doesn't happen very often, but that was awesome. And then they referred us another buyer, and then I picked up another listing from another seller, and then we picked up a listing from that neighborhood that we got the listing in. So door knocking does work. And that was a little bit of a fluke, but it does happen. Something that happened this past week, is I got a phone call from someone. He's like, hey, Carmen, my name is Seth. I'm ready to sell my house. And I'm like, Seth, who's Seth? And so I'm like, okay, tell me your address And come to find out, I totally remember meeting this guy. In fact, I'd knocked on his door multiple times, and he's always told me he was going to sell. And here he called me, and he's ready to list in 2 weeks. So door knocking. I met him a year ago in the fall, so over a year. Yeah, and I have sold quite a few homes in that neighborhood from door knocking. And he even said to me, he's like, I've been watching, I've known that you are like the neighborhood real estate agent over here. So people do start noticing. And I mean, I haven't, it's not like I'm selling thousands of homes every year, but it does work and people do notice. I can tell you a scary thing that happened, if you guys want to hear this. And I was with Zula, so I wasn't by myself, but a man, he had PTSD. He had served in the war, and so he was really on edge. And so when I knocked on the door, I just knocked and rang the doorbell, and he just like comes running down and opens the door and had a gun in his hand. And so we were really scared because we're like, okay, if we run, he's probably going to think we did something and he's going to shoot us. But if we stay, he might shoot us. Like, what do we do? But luckily, we were able to just be really friendly and calm him down. And he actually ended up saying he wanted to sell. He called the lender, but after the lender talked to him, he's like, I don't want to work with this guy. He doesn't sound he sounds kind of crazy. And I honestly didn't feel safe working with him either. But you never know, right? You never know the people you're going to come across, and you just got to make sure you're very careful and you play it safe. So yeah, I could probably write a book about all the different people I've talked to door knocking, but it's actually pretty fun. Once you get out there, the hard part is to just get started. Once you get out there, it can be really fun. You meet a lot of interesting people. So one of the quotes that I love, and I'll end on this note, is if you do what is hard, your life will get easy. And I'm going to tell you right now, door knocking is hard. But if you do what is hard, your life will be easy. If you do what is easy, your life will be hard. So if you guys have any questions at all, I could put my number up here. You guys are welcome to give me a call anytime. I'm happy to answer any questions. But I do promise you that if it's something you've been thinking about, you should give it a try, because door knocking really does work. So thank you guys.
Isn't she amazing? She's literally amazing. And she was even saying people move every 6 to 7 years. She's only been doing this 4 years and has killed it in door knocking. So thank you, Carmen. Any other questions or anything? Tyler had to take off a little bit early, so I think this is pretty much it, unless you guys have something else. Jamie? That's a good question. Who do we have? Lisa on here? Lisa, I think, is on Zoom. Do you have any information on the event? Do you? Ish?
Well, the committee has been meeting and we're discussing different things, but nothing's set in stone yet. But as soon as we have something, we'll let you know. I know it's going to be a great point for having conversations with your database. So we're working on it, and we are planning to just get all the events for the year scheduled in the next little bit. So we'll let you know as soon as we have that information.
Lisa.
Yes.
So I've been getting a few questions about this as well. So correct me if I say anything that isn't right. But we are not doing Death by Chocolate this year because it's not very COVID friendly, chocolate fountains. And we've grown so big that it's really hard to find a venue where we can host an event like that. But I've had a lot of people asking me about it. We are planning on doing a Q1 event where just kind of nailing down exactly what that looks like, but we will be having one. And then we're planning summer water park, most likely. We're doing pumpkin patch. So we are still planning at least 3 events this year, but I know we usually started hitting Death by Chocolate pretty hard about this time. So I've had a lot of people reach out to me about that. So it's probably not
right.
It's not gonna be
But we're looking at maybe March or April for the first event, and June for the second one, and then October for the third one. Yeah. So it's the first one that's more up in the air. The other 2, we're hoping to get the water park scheduled again and Then for the last one would be a pumpkin patch. And that's the plan so far. So we're working on solidifying all of that and gathering information on the different venues we've been looking into for the first event. So we're not decided on what that one is going to be yet, because we haven't had a first quarter event for a while since we did get rid of Death by Chocolate. So that's kind of what we're working on right now.
Okay, awesome. Great question, Jamie. Any other questions or anything, any other announcements? Did you have something? Oh, stretching. Okay, don't forget we have lunch in the back. Make sure you thank them and have a fantastic week. Thanks for having it on Zoom.